Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order this Board of Commissioners meeting for Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. A couple things tonight. Our township solicitor, Michael Madden, is behind me on the screen tonight. Okay, and we have Megan Totoro over here covering for Joe Viscusa tonight. She's alternate as a township engineer tonight. So, all right. So for item 3 will be the first item we're handling, review and approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of January 15th, 2024. Have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay? Ayes have it. We have a proclamation to be read. Fred Rodriguez.
Township of Aston, Delaware County, Pennsylvania proclamation. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Aston Township desire to recognize and honor Aston Township's Public Works Director, Russ Palmore, on the occasion of his retirement and 35 years of dedicated service to Aston Township and the residents of Aston Township. And whereas Russ grew up in Brookhaven and attended Sun Valley High School. During that time, he met his wife Barbara. After graduating in 1975, Russ and Barbara were married in 1976. This year, they will be celebrating their 49th wedding anniversary together. Whereas Russ and Barbara have been blessed with 3 sons, Brian, Kenny, and Bo, as well as their 9 grandchildren, Gabriel, Dominic, Jeremy, Cole, Haley, Morgan, Sienna, Ava, Isla, and whereas Russ began his employment with Aston Township in 1990 as part of a part-time employee going to full-time in 1991. Russ worked for the sanitation department for 2 years before moving on to the highway department. In 2000, Russ worked his way up to the position of road foreman, and finally in 2014, Russ was promoted to the director of public works. Where Russ is known for his remarkable knowledge of township parks, roadways, retention ponds, and drainage, but most importantly, his ability to get things done in any situation, included but not limited to rain, snow, high winds, storms. And whereas Russ has proven to be a valuable asset to the Aston Township Public Works Department, serving the township and residents with both professionalism and dedication. And now, therefore, it be proclaimed that the Aston Township Board of Commissioners is proud to congratulate Public Works Director Russ Palmore on his 35 years of employment and a well-deserved retirement. It will be proclaimed the 19th day of February 2025. Congratulations, Russ.
I know nobody recognizes me.
Well, put your hat on.
I got my hat.
Yes. There he is.
Now you know me.
Russ is a true.
I'm glad now I found you, man.
Thank you.
Say, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
And all I can say, I've been with you for what, 7, 8 years now?
Yes.
Never had a problem. You always did a great job. Fantastic job.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm all right with that now.
He lost me with that, man.
I know. Yep.
Here we go. Get the whole thing.
Well, 2 of them this.
Oh, really? Would you just pay them to stay home?
Nah, one's working. I don't know where to go with that.
little people are as bad as.
Got it.
The family, put up a picture of all you guys.
Thanks. Thank you. Ready, one more time. Now, you're my commissioner.
Here comes the boss. The boss is here.
She was retired 2 days before me.
Congratulations. I got my money on her. Where's my girls? Here they come.
Not if I said it.
Say whatever you want, honey.
Cook me a while, don't cut me off.
Come on, Mike.
He's got triplets. Mike, Wes wants to say something.
Oh, yeah.
Can we go over there?
Yeah, go up there. Give him the microphone.
Wait. He,
First of all, I want to thank the family. That's what it's all about, being here. My wife, like I said, 49 years. She's the one that's closest thing you got on me. I love her very much. Commissioners, I started out with Murray Buffington, Jim Person, Lou Fisher, Jim McGinn. I think the other ones are Democrats, I ain't worried about that. I've been through Mr. Lear, I know today's his birthday. He put his arm around me 25 years ago and said, "Don't worry, Russ, I'll take care of you." And he did. To this day, that man was like a father to me. And I love him very much. We've had a little ups and downs in the last several years, but Eileen, code enforcement, became friends. And Albert, Gloria Ann, Christine, and then Kelly, since she started, she's been there for me. Bill Dale, I had a rough year last year, and he was there for me every day, asking me how I was feeling. And I got me to where I retired on my terms, which I wanted to do. And I wanted to thank all the commissioners here that stood behind me and had my back. And I love working here, always did. I'm proud of working here, and all I can say is thank you.
we'll miss you, Russ. Okay, next we have committee reports. Commissioner Tinsley.
I'll be reporting out on the permits and license. This is for January 2025. Obviously, we started with a beginning balance of $0, and the three highest that we received, one was in the income from building permits and general contractors, that totaled $30,631. Total plumbing and heating, that was $5,237. And we had $5,000 income from rental license. So that was a total for, that was three of the highest, but the total for 2025 for January was $49,633. And to compare that to January of last year, it's more than double. We had January 2024, it was almost $24,936. So really, we have doubled the revenue collected in the month of January for this year. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Berry?
Thank you, President Higgins. I have the police report. These incidents occurred in January. Incidents handled was 491, accident investigations 36, criminal investigations 24. Criminal cases cleared 12. Part 1 crimes, clearance rate was 1%, clearance rate for Part 2 was 85%. And now to the LPR count. cameras. Pendle and Concord Road, over $1 million. Pendle and Dutton Mill, 714,000 plus. Concord Dutton Mill, 714,000 plus. Concord Road and Aston Mills, 549,000 plus. Concord Bridgewater, 507, and Pendle and Glendale Road, 428,000 plus, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Prendergast.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. Public Works Activity Report for January 2025. Our team snowplowed, salted 4 events accumulating approximately 6 inches of snowfall. Our sanitation department picked up 52 tons of recycling and 480 tons of residential waste. The following roads are state-owned and maintained: Pendle Road, Concord Road, Knowlton Road, Bridgewater Road, Dutton Mill Road, Aston Mills Bernie Highway, Bodley Road, and Lenai Road. For maintenance or safety issues on any of these roads, contact PennDOT at 610-566-0972. The next metal and appliance week is March 3rd to March 7th. Bulk trash week no longer exists. Anything that can burn can be put on your curb for trash at any time. Please have your trash at the curb by 6 a.m. on your designated trash day. Any questions or comments related to Public Works, please contact Russ, not Russ. Bill Saracey, road foreman at 610-494-8005.
Yeah. Thank you. Commissioner Doherty.
Okay, I have before me the treasurer's report for January 2025. Operating cash in the general fund as of January 31st, $1,191,596. Other funds include the TD Bank escrow checking account with a balance of $638,815. The 2022 Pliget account with a balance of $8,035,657. The TD Bank 2022 bond account fund with a balance of $999,529. The TD Bank capital checking account with a balance of $2,281,982. Total cash balance for the township as of January 31st, 2025, $13,268,180. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowden.
The first thing that I have is I want to remind everybody and tell people that don't know, our Easter egg hunt and bunny brunch is going to be held Saturday, April the 12th, but it's going to be at 12 o'clock this year because there's Little League openings and parades throughout the town, so we want you to be able to enjoy everything. And the rain date will be Saturday, April the 19th at 10 o'clock. And I have a report from the library here. Bingo to benefit the Aston Public Library will be March the 15th from 6 to 9. Doors will open at 4:30, $25 admission, all cash prizes. No one under 18 will be admitted. Alcoholic beverages are prohibited. I almost said permitted. Tickets are sold at the door. And for the kids, it's time again for the annual bookmark design contest for kids grade K to 8. An entry form can be picked up at the library or downloaded at www.astonlibrary.org. The deadline is April 30th. The winner's work will be displayed at the library. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Finally, Commissioner McGinn.
Thanks, Commissioner Higgins. I have 2 reports tonight. First, I'll start with the new building and construction committee. As anybody going down Concord Road, we can see tremendous progress month to month. You know, a couple of highlights in terms of things that we can see being worked on. The roof is beginning to be worked on. Sanitary mains, which you probably can't see behind, but they're being installed. And even the ceiling in what will eventually be our meeting room, the room that we'll be in certainly this time next year, is going up. So great progress and great job, continued great job by all of the staff that are working. You know, one thing in terms of tax dollars at work I want to highlight is, some of you may remember, we had invested dollars in terms of project oversight and management. You know, while our contractors are doing a great job, they continue to spot things and check on things in terms of inspections to make sure that things stay on time. So that has been a good investment and proven to be worthwhile. From a fire committee report for January 2025, first I'd like to recognize our fire marshal that's here, Sean Joyce. Thanks for joining us tonight. and also commend him, his role as president of the Aston Fire Department. January was a heck of a month, and February has been too. In January, they had almost 400 calls, 318 on the EMS side alone. Again, with a lot of the volunteer hours, donations and stuff that the fire department does, plus you remember we invested and increased the fire tax, was extremely necessary. It's allowed us to not only get a second ambulance, but even a third that we can use to supplement specifically for calls within Aston Township. Our ambulances have been pulled all over the place recently as far as Markle Township, which I know is in Delaware County, but for anybody who knows kind of the call system, that's a long way. So they continue to do a great job, and commend the deputy chief who's constantly back and forth in terms of providing updates, Ken Dawson, on the EMS service and the challenges they're going through. So they're doing a heck of a job for us. I'm sure there's hopefully, things will quiet down a little bit over the spring and the summer, but still things that we need to work on collectively. So I appreciate the work they're doing. And that's it for my report today.
Excellent report. Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, we move on to line item 6, is approval of the treasurer's report.
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Item number 7, approval of the bills and payment report.
I make a motion to approve the bills and payroll report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Then we move now to item 8. It's open to the public for agenda items only, okay? So anybody who have any questions that are on the agenda tonight, please come up. Mr. Penza.
Nicholas Penza, 30 Morgan Road. I want to talk about agenda item under old business 11B. So I noticed that is a forested area, the property folio at 0 South Spring Lane. It's a forested area between the Presbyterian Church on Concord and the brewery company. Now, are you changing this because you already have a buyer for the property?
First answer is the buyer is in here tonight for a presentation, okay? And you said brewery?
Yeah, there's a brewery there on Concord.
That's Chester Township, that's Chester Township, has nothing to do with it.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just saying, not really, that doesn't have anything to do with it, I'm just saying, just tell you where, get a sense of where this property is.
Right, across the creek.
Right, for Aldwood's Run.
Right.
So you already have a buyer.
They will be making a presentation tonight.
Oh. Oh, but they're here to talk about the district change. My second question is on 11E. I noticed that they want to put in, they're talking about a wireless tower at the elementary school. Now, are they talking like a communication tower like the one at the old municipal building?
Can you hear me, or?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So, this is an application to add an antenna to an existing tower. So there's already a tower there. They're just co-locating another antenna onto that tower.
Will it be higher? The tower becoming even
No,
higher?
no, it won't raise the total height at all.
Oh, I also want to talk about agenda item 12B and 12C. It does not state what exactly the amendments to be advertised are.
We have, a violation section in our code that I thought could use some updating, just for consistency with the first class township code. So that's what B is. C is, are you familiar with the donation bins where people drop old clothes or, sometimes shoes or whatever the case may be?
Yeah.
We don't really have those regulated at all, and, they're sort of proliferating throughout the township. And the ordinance committee thought it best if we adopt some regulations of those. So this would require permits on those. It would require certain safety features. It would require that the owner of the land have knowledge that's going on there, because we suspect that that's not always the case. It would limit it to one per property, and some other restrictions. And those are available for review once we advertise them.
Now, would this ordinance apply to the green drop at 5 Corners?
No, green drop's a different animal, right? Because it's not just a bin. This is only for the bins.
But back to 12B, what exactly is the general violation line to be changed?
So the first class township code allows fines up to $600 for the majority of violations, and up to $1,000 and treatment as a summary offense for violations of a category such as health, noise, zoning, and a few other categories. And this just makes it consistent with that section.
You said treatment? Did you say treatment? What do you mean by treatment?
I don't know if I said treatment.
You didn't say treatment.
That's basically it. Thank you.
Nick, we've also had problems with the overflow of those containers. They've been known to be set on fire, and people have been known to sleep inside of them. So. Ms. Bapp?
Kathy Bath, 2931 Concord Road, Aston. One quick stupid question. As far as when you're talking about advertising these in the newspaper permission, do you also put that on the website too? Because I don't know that I've ever seen it, so I was just wondering if it's also on the website, because not all of us get the newspaper.
They're not on the website. They never really have fences.
Could they maybe be put on the website? Well, again, having you put the new things in the new things that are coming up, et cetera, maybe consider that, because.
I think that's something we could take to the ordinance committee and discuss. I think it's a good suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that everybody goes to the website either, but, thank you.
They're also available at the township building as well when they're advertised. But.
Anyone else that would like to come up and make some comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 9. Commissioner.
I make a motion to place the meeting in Sindai.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Ayes have it. Are you going to take it from here, Mike?
Smoke.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this up on my computer, if you bear with me for a second. So many of them.
We have 3 hearings tonight.
So, this ordinance is an ordinance that would add smoke shops as a use to our zoning code. It defines smoke shop. It places them as a conditional use in the freestanding business district. It adds specific conditions so that smoke shops can't be within 1,000 feet of each other. And establishes penalties for violations. And Mr. President, it'd be appropriate for you to take any public comment at this time.
You want to do it now? Okay. The public is welcome to come up and ask any questions in regard to the smoke shop ordinance that we're proposing. They can be It can be questions about why, it can be questions about what it involves and so forth. Are you coming up, Nick?
Should I announce my address again? 30 Morgan Road, Aston, PA, Nicholas Penza. That ordinance still includes the clause that a smoke shop is considered any retailer that gets 40% of its revenue from tobacco products, right?
It's a
Actually, how about if I read the definition of smoke shop into the record, just so there's no questions there. A retail sales or wholesale establishment primarily engaged or marketed as selling tobacco, tobacco products and accessories, and/or vaping products and accessories. A retail sales or wholesale establishment which maintains 20% or more of its total merchandise as tobacco, tobacco products and accessories, and/or vaping products or accessories shall be considered tobacco store shop for the smoke shop for the purposes of this chapter. For the purposes of this chapter, a retail or wholesale establishment which holds itself out as or otherwise promotes or markets itself as a tobacco store, smoke shop, a vape shop, a cigar shop, or similar establishment shall also be considered a smoke shop for the purposes of this chapter. Examples of vaping products and accessories referred to in this chapter include, without limitation, e-cigarette or vape cartridges or refills, vaporizers, vape pens, vapor products, hookah pens, electronic cigarettes, e-cigarettes, e-cigs, e-pipes, and any other electronic nicotine delivery system. Electronic nicotine delivery system shall be deemed non-combustible tobacco products. Tobacco products and accessories, as referred to in this chapter, shall include, without limitation, any substance containing tobacco leaf, including but not limited to cigarettes, cigars, pipe tobacco, snuff, chewing tobacco, or dipping tobacco, matches, lighters, grinders, hookahs, pipes, chewing tobacco, cigarette rolling machines or papers, ashtrays, pipe tools, pipe suppliers, and pipe accessories. Additionally, any retail sales or wholesale establishment that sells any product containing any form of tetrahydrocannabinol, not requiring licensure from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania or for sale or kratom, shall be considered a smoke shop use.
So it's now 20% of the merchandise, that if it's
Right.
20% of the merchandise tobacco, then it's a smoke shop. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying
Yep.
that.
Is anyone else who'd like to come up and make some comments? Sir, come on up.
Hi, Don Irvin, 4102 South Lee Lane, Aston.
Can you say your last name for me?
IRVIN. I had a question, the man on the camera back there, you mentioned something about kratom. Like, what was that you read in your thing there? I don't know the gentleman's name on the screen in the back.
His name is, he's a solicitor, township solicitor.
Is kratom something that you would have for sale in these smoke shops?
So any place that sells kratom would be considered a smoke shop.
I'm just wondering why, all the tobacco products, why you would need a product like that? And is there any foresight?
I understand, please, that kratom is not regulated.
That's what I mean.
And what we're doing here is making an attempt to regulate it, right? So if you sell that product, then you are in this category and you're limited to a certain location in the township. So it's certainly not intended to encourage anybody to sell kratom. To the contrary, they're gonna be subject to the regulations that apply to a smoke shop if they do.
Okay, because there's other products floating around out there now, mushroom products and other things. Just hope it's not a gateway using the tobacco store to start backfilling all this other stuff in. That's all.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing the speaker, guys.
I was just concerned that other products are gonna be sort of backfilled into the store as well as Kratom, like some other mushroom products and other things that are out there that a lot of us probably don't want in the township.
Well, as of today, smoke shops are not regulated at all in Aston. So, and they were starting to become a little bit proliferate. So the idea is to get them zoned into a particular location at least, which is gonna make it easier for our police to keep an eye on things in those areas. They're a legitimate legal use in Pennsylvania, so they have to be accounted for. So it's not like we're encouraging these to come into town. There's something that you have to account for in your zoning.
I mean, you could turn something down also, right?
Mike, he asked, can we turn these down? Can we stop
Or
a smoke shop
Or
from
limit
coming
the
in?
number
Yeah.
of them in the township?
Can we turn them down? Like, can we just say no smoke shops?
Well,
Is that the question?
Or no certain products, or can you limit the amount of the smoke shops in the township perimeters?
Well, I think this ordinance will in effect limit the number of smoke shops, because basically there's room for one in the freestanding business district. Can we ban products? I don't think so. You know, I think we're preempted from banning products by the Commonwealth, and the feds.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Would anybody else have something they'd like to say? Nobody else? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Solicitor, we have no more questions.
Sure. I'm sorry, are we on to the next item?
Yes.
Do you want to get Commissioner's comments?
I'm sorry, would you say that once more, Mike?
Do you want Commissioner comments? Questions?
Oh, please, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. Commissioner McGinn, you want to go? No questions? Commissioner Bowden?
No questions.
John?
No questions or comments?
Mr. Pendergast? Mr. Murray?
No question.
Kevin? I have no questions. There's no questions from the board.
Okay. With that, Mr. President, do you want me to move on to the next item?
Yes, please do.
Okay. The next item is an ordinance amending the zoning code, particularly the zoning map, to rezone about just under 3.5 acres of the property where the United Presbyterian Church is located off of Springhouse Lane to R2, which is the medium density residential district. And Mr. President, it would be appropriate for you to take any public comment on this item at this time.
Yes. They're here, aren't they? Would the gentlemen that are handling that come up with their presentation? Are you handling this yourself, Counselor?
Well, I have the client here. Mr.
Okay,
Second,
fine.
Pathfinder Homes is here with me.
Turn that on.
There we go. Yeah, again, Mark D'Amico, I'm an attorney at 109 Chesley Drive in Media. And this is Jim Malaseca. He's the principal of Pathfinder Homes. They're the equitable owner of the 3.4 acres that Mr. Madden was just referring to, which is a portion of the United Presbyterian Church property. Currently, the entire property is zoned institutional, INS. That zoning would not permit the development of the property for single-family residential homes, but R2 would. So the Mr. Malaseca has been talking to the church. The church is looking to sell the property. It's a portion of the property is completely unused. They're looking to raise some money. Mr. Malaseca and Pathfinder Homes are home builders, so they got together and they have this part of the property under an agreement of sale. So they're the equitable owner of the property. He engaged a local civil engineer in Delaware County, Catania Engineering Associates, to put together a little bit of a sketch plan. We have met with township staff, including the township engineer, township solicitor over the last several months. That resulted in an application that we made, petition to rezone this part of the property. And again, this would be a first step of a several-step process, but unless the property is rezoned, there's no ability to proceed with a subdivision plan. So we petitioned the township to rezone this portion of the property. We believe this is an appropriate use. As Mr. Madron said, it's on, what's the Spring House. So all of the area around here is zoned R2, and that's the purpose, or the point of getting it into an R2 zoning. If the Board of Commissioners, in their discretion, does adopt the ordinance, then the engineer would then proceed to develop a plan that would be several single-family homes, and then we would have to make an application to the township. As you know, the process would be we would need to make a separate subdivision application process with both the township and the county. That would be a couple months of engineering before that application would be made. There are some small amount of steep slopes, so we'd have to make a conditional use application as well. And that's pretty much the sort of the nitty-gritty procedural background. So,
Mr. D'Amico,
Yes, sir.
is Mr. Malaseka going to comment or answer questions?
He's here to answer any questions. Again, this is all the township is considering tonight is taking a part of the property, 3.39 acres, and changing the zoning, nothing more. So there's no plan that's been proposed to the township. We don't have any renderings to show you. But Mr. Malaseka obviously has ideas, and he knows a lot about the property. So if there are questions, hopefully he has an answer for them.
Okay. Do we have to swear him in, Mr. Solicitor? Mr. Solicitor? Mike,
Yes.
do we have to swear Mr. Malaseka in? Do we need to swear him in?
Or the court reporter, I think, would typically
Oh,
do
okay.
that.
All right.
Can you raise your hand, please? Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to go through the truth? And can I have your full name?
James, no, the second.
Spell your last name.
M-E-L-A-S-D-C-C-N. Sorry, that's what I was.
Step to the microphone and testify.
Okay, does anybody, we'll do the board first, Mike. Mr. McGinn, would you have anything to say?
I think if you could just describe, I guess, what your vision is for the property, what the plan is, I think that'd be helpful for everybody.
So basically, for those of you that don't know, the church purchased that property that was supposed to be residential anyway. That's why the two streets don't connect anymore. They wound up putting the church in the middle of that. Therefore, they changed it from residential to institutional. So that's what we're trying to take that institutional zoning on that back part that's right there that connects with, is that Chester Road, John? Chester Drive, or whatever, Chester Drive and Spring House right there, and just put houses in that are, same type of houses in there. So that'll improve the value. Everybody will make money on that because, when you build things, everybody makes money, and that's literally how it works. So, regular houses that are there, they'll be able to refinance their houses, fix them up, sell them for more money, or people that maybe looking to retire, move to Florida, whatever. You'll be able to make more money on your house because there's new houses that have that value, which also brings in taxes for the township, to take care of any different things, so.
Anticipate or estimate how many houses?
I believe that it's about 8.
8?
Yes, which they all conform to your 10,000 square foot for the zoning. We've already kind of started playing around with it a little bit, but, so it should be 8 single family houses, good for families and stuff like that. It's not gonna be, rental properties or anything like that, so there's none of that stuff going on. It's homeowners that are paying taxes, paying mortgages and whatnot, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Higgins, can we start here? Is that okay with you, and then I go back to you?
You want to go next?
First?
He wants to go first.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. I was trying to mix it up.
So I know, especially with some of the residents in the room tonight, I know we met informally as, who was backing up to this, as well as we met with all 3 of you guys, as well as with, Mr. Petruso and Mr. Madron. So we had a bunch in attendance who were backing up to it. Like you said, so where we're looking at is gonna be going into a cul-de-sac. We even discussed whether it's for the commissioners and for the residents who are here tonight who may not have been there. It was the first snowstorm we had, I think it started coming out, it was the middle of January. that as far as for, okay, well, where they come in as far as for the logistics, as far as that from the construction. As far as for this meeting tonight, it's only as far as for the zoning. I spoke to two residents today, one on my way here. As far as for coming to that, the logistics, we were even discussing it right before I walked in, as we're leading into the construction. Those type of meetings, if this gets rezoned, we'll have an agreement between the township and the builder as far as to make sure that is the least painful, as far as for X amount of time, X amount of hours, and so on. So that's gonna come in future meetings, whether it's new construction and planning. This is only as far as for the first step, to step one, before we come back. Because I know initially, I believe the plan was a heck of a lot more, and then because of the slope, it has decreased recently. So as far as for that, there is gonna be more level plans, a lot more constrict. What we came up with was just a very high level for that meeting that we needed to have last month. So, there you go. A lot better now? So, Mike, you can probably hear me better now too. So I just wanted to at least start the contact. So I know like Commissioner McCain started it, so me at least to start from my end. Sorry, I hope that was all right, Commissioner Higgins, because a little bit more context since I'm more boots on the ground, understanding of what's going on. So I know there's even residents here tonight. We shared some of that. You kind of had an idea. Pretty much that plan is going to change. I think it's pretty confident that what you saw in January, there's going to be minor changes to it. But here, what I'm here for, and the other 6 commissioners are just open for feedback, and whether it's related to this rezoning and also moving forward. In my head, I already have a letter created as far as for, I need help as far as for telling me what streets. Somebody even sent me a text message as far as for giving the feedback. What streets would you want the construction to come in and out of? So at least I'm open to ideas as far as for related to this 3.4 acres. So hopefully that at least gives a little bit more context. But again, this is us talking too, but also if any of the residents here tonight, if you guys have any questions that I can help answer, but I know we have 5 other commissioners who might have questions that maybe I didn't think of either.
Very good. Mr. Murray?
They pretty much covered most of it.
Fred?
I'm gonna agree. I think we pretty much covered it, and I think with the people out in the audience here, they'll come
we'll
up
get
with whatever
there.
else we need.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
John?
No comments.
Ms. Bowden?
No.
And I have no comments, so I would like to hear from the residents, any residents that are here tonight, especially those that live down in Kevin's district. If you would like to make comments, please come up to the, oh, you're here. You're here, excuse me. Is anybody going to come up and ask questions? Questions can be directed to the board, to Mr. Tinsley, can be directed to the attorney, or to Mr. Malseca here. So, if you have questions, come on up.
Just can't say really.
Dan Guzzo, 2240 North Springhouse Lane, Aston.
Can you spell your last name for me?
Guzzo. My biggest worry is the wildlife. You know, I've been in this township 67 years, and I played in the creek that's down there. My grandparents built the house in 51. I've been playing there since 56, 57, and there's box turtles down there. There's crayfish down there. And all that runoff that they're gonna make when they do their building is gonna tear that area up. My grandkids go down there now and play. You have a bald eagle that nests down in Chester Creek. Comes down there and it hunts down there. Numerous hawks, you have deer, you have box turtle. It's amazing the wildlife that's down there. Before anything rezoned, I think they need to bring somebody in here and look at that. It's quite worrying, you know, it worries me a lot that they're just gonna tear it up. I know they'll do their best to stop doing that, but they're gonna tear it up and it's gonna kill what they have down there.
What do we call that area where
I
the
mean,
turtles are?
the deer are gonna start crossing that road all the time and they're constantly getting hit as it is. So once those trucks come in there, they're gonna scare everything and it's gonna go. And we won't have any place to take our grandkids to look at. I feel bad for the people on Lee Lane. They gotta look at the back of that stuff. Sure, there will be nice houses, but in the meantime, they're gonna be looking into somebody's backyard. You know, that's probably why they bought that area, to sit on the back porch and look down at the woods, look at the wildlife that's there. That's my biggest worry. You know, and then I'm a crossing guard. The trucks going in and out there at school time. Speed in that, development is bad now. You know, I ain't gonna tell this big 10-wheeler going down the road to slow down. You aren't. They're just gonna do what they wanna do. You know, that's my feeling.
Mr. Guzzo, I just want to
Yes,
make
sir.
one comment, and probably Mr. Tinsley does too. Your comments are well taken. There is you're right, there is an area, protected area down there, a wetland, it's called the wetlands.
Yes.
And the wetlands is not included in this, but I understand where you're going about, you're saying anything that what they're doing could cause. I
They're
understand.
gonna have runoff. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lot of creek. It runs from down by
Yeah.
my house,
Right.
underneath the ground, all the way behind
Yeah.
the other houses behind me.
Right.
On the other side of the street and straight down through there.
Yeah, I understand. Kevin, do you want to comment at all? Yeah, the wetland has to be protected, and the contractors, when they get that far, if it gets that far, they've got to have the barriers up that stop any sludge or anything else that goes down into the creek or any materials or, you know, you probably know that already, you know. So, but we're not,
Down
we're
there
not,
today looking at it. That's why she's
Yeah.
not here. She's upset.
I just wanted to mention that, and gentlemen, do you want to make a comment or anything?
Yeah, Mr. Higgins, I would only say that, again, as you said, this is a disturbance, potentially, right? We're not here.
Right, we're not here for that.
Any application that would potentially, or that would result in any construction. If the rezoning ordinance is adopted, we would start a process that would end up with a subdivision application that would go to the county, the new construction committee of Aston Township, the planning commission of Aston Township, before it ever got back to the board of commissioners. Eventually, if the plan was passed, we would be disturbing over an acre, so that would require a permit from the county conservation district. It's called an NPDES permit. That's a very thorough vetting of the plan to make sure soil and erosion control is not an issue. There would be stormwater management as part of the plan. There would be, as Mr. Viscuso mentioned at our meeting with the neighbors on January 16th, a study called a PINDY study to make sure that there's no bog turtles or any other endangered species that would be impacted by the development. So again, this is the beginning of a long process with a lot of controls, a lot of review, a lot of engineering.
Thank you. Does anyone else would like to come up and make some comments? Anybody else in Mr. Tinsley's district? Come on up. Come on up, Mark.
Good evening, how are you? I'm Mark Armstrong, I live at 4004 East Chester Drive. My house would back up to lot number 1 of the new proposed development. My question is, at the end of Springhouse, there's a runoff that goes into the creek. How will that be taken care of? And what will the prices of the houses be?
I'm not sure what the prices of the house will be. I've hired John Fusco, who's a Sun Valley Aston resident, been here all his life. He would be setting those prices. As far as the runoff drain, I know what you're talking about. That would be an engineering question. I don't want to lie to you and give you the wrong answer. That's definitely above my pay grade. Don't tell us what to do, but it'll be taken care of. Like I said, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the concerns that everybody has. That's what happened when they were building your house, because
every street eventually had to get developed, right? And that's part of, you know, how neighborhoods grow, how they bring in families, you know, stuff like that. There's also, there's housing shortages for people where they can't find exactly what they want or get the timeline that they want. And so when we build new homes, that allows those people to move straight from the apartment right into the house. You know, sometimes when you're buying a home from an actual homeowner, well, they have to find a place to live, you gotta like work it out. So sometimes those deals kind of get messed up for those kinds of people. So, like I said, as far as you're concerned about the engineering, 100% that'll be handled, but I can hand it, that's what we pay them for. They would be able to handle all that. And like I said, I can guarantee it'll be a nice neighborhood, nice people in there, you know, good tax money for everybody, so.
And let me just add that, when some of the homes that are existing around there are obviously developed, several or many years ago, so as is with all regulations, they keep getting more complicated. So the stormwater controls that this developer will have to adhere to are going to be much more stringent than in the past. So I would say that's number one. Number two, you know, our engineer will be working on that as part of the plan. That's basically the biggest part of the plan is erosion and stormwater. And then I would also say that if you want to give your name and number to Jim, if we get that far and we get the engineer out there, we'd be happy to meet with you to make sure we understand not only your concern, but if any of the other neighbors have particular stormwater concerns, we're happy to go out there and meet with them to make sure we can try to come up with a plan that solves all those problems. Can't make any promises, but if we talk to the neighbors and we get to understand your concerns with the engineer there on site, we can try to address it.
Thanks for your comments and questions, Mark. Okay. Don't be bashful. Is there anybody else who would like to come up and make some comments or express some concerns? If so, please do. Okay, I'm going to move on. If nobody else is going to come up, I'm going to move on to the next item. Oh, what?
Somebody else coming up?
Much more chances do I give him? I already answered, but I'll say something.
Hello everyone, my name is Brian Miller. I live on 665A Mill Road.
What's your name again, sir?
Brian Miller. So, I actually got some pretty good questions for these two ladies.
I can't hear you.
We can
can't
hardly
hear you.
We can hardly hear you.
I'm sorry. So one of the ladies asked, have you ever built anything else in this area?
Yeah, this is what I do for a living. I build new construction all over the city. I do stuff in Delaware County, Chester County. In Aston, no, I haven't built any new construction here. I've done rehabs literally all over the place. This is what I do every day. So if your question is, have I done in Aston? No, but I can give you a list of 100 of them that I've done elsewhere.
And then the other lady over there asked, what would be the turnaround time?
Well, I mean, it depends on how fast we can get. This is the longest process, to be honest with you. The zoning and all these meetings, this is what takes the longest. The housing part is usually fairly quick. It's not as long as you think it is. It's not as troublesome as you think it is. The way that we're trying to do it is get our foundations done and set the house in one day, and then everything else is interior work. So it's for the concern about like 1 million trucks coming through. That's really not going to happen. Definitely not that way. And I would be working with Mr. Tinsley on a schedule. So literally we could schedule and say, hey, on Friday the 15th, we're going to have trucks in here from this time to this time, set it, and then we'll work on the next day. Like, it wouldn't be like a cluster of every day like that. It's not really like that. Like, people think it is, but it's really not. To answer that question, it would basically be, we're hoping to have a house set in the day and then finish the interiors. You know, obviously, we've got to be working on the inside of the building and stuff like that. To get the outside done up and for Mr. Tinsley to approve it. You know?
kind of want to piggyback on what this guy said. So, I've been living in Aston for about 6 years now. And one of the things that drew me to this town was beautiful scenery. You know, I think that's something that's definitely going away in a lot of places. Like, driving up and down Pennell Road, I've seen 2 locations that are already being developed on. They're tearing out the trees. These animals, they can't speak for themselves. And they're gonna be losing their homes. So I guess that's something that's, I feel like is a really big thing, and I feel like that's also something that draws a lot of people to this town. It's how beautiful it is. And the more that they take away, the more I feel like people are not going to be around here because it's all going to become industrialized and it's going to start looking more and more like the city. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else on this project? Please feel free to come up. Don't be bashful.
There we go. This guy likes all projects.
John Irvin, 4102 South Lee Lane. You said you would set the house in a day. Are these like modular homes that you're putting in, or what's the construction style?
Well, originally, when we went to the first meeting, were you at the first meeting? Okay. So when we were at the first meeting, the concern was a million trucks, people there every day, noise, speeding through the neighborhood, all that kind of stuff. So literally 5 minutes before we walked in here, I said to Mr. Tinsley, I said, if there's a way that we can figure out to maybe do it where we can set it quickly like that, if that's an option, I would be willing to do that versus stick build, takes a little bit longer and all that, and basically have everything out here on site, to speed it up to not inconvenience everybody. And that's, I was making a conception for Mr. Tinsley.
See, I didn't hear that at the last meeting.
No, because we literally just 5 seconds before we walked in this room in the hallway, man, I said to him, I said, hey, I was listening to some of his neighbors and was trying to comply.
Thank you, sir. Before I move on this one, anybody else that wants to come up? Okay, all right. Mr. Tinsley, Kevin, do you have anything you want to add here since it involves you?
Mike. Yeah, Mike.
Are you okay? Okay. Michael, we're going to move on to the next one.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. The next item on the agenda is the application of Celco Partners doing business as Verizon to co-locate a wireless antenna on an existing monopole at 900 Trians, I think it's actually 900C, technically Trians Road. The applicant's counsel is, I think, getting up and walking to the podium now. We have one board exhibit this evening for this hearing, and that is the proof of publication. This was published in the Delaware County Daily Times on February 5th and February 12th in accordance with the NPC. And with that, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. President, rather, I believe you can turn it over to the applicant's counsel.
Okay. That's you?
That's me.
Okay. All right, all right, we're gonna turn this over to the applicant's counsel. Yes. Sir, would you state your name before we move on?
Of course, my name is Nicholas Cucce, C-U-C-E, attorney for Verizon Wireless.
Okay, you can proceed.
Thank you. We have a very straightforward application for the board this evening. We are looking to co-locate on an existing tower at the property that Mr. Madron referenced. There were some issues with getting the exact address. Actually, the tax map notes it as 0 Concord Road. However, I believe that 900C Tyrans Road is
appropriate, so we will have plans changed to that effect. But the tax parcel number is the correct number for this property. There is currently, and has been for probably a couple of decades, an existing 120-foot monopole on the property, tucked back away off the street. It's very close, it's just south of Newman University, and we are looking to co-locate our antennas at a center line of 108 feet, so that's well below the existing height of the tower. We are also looking to put ground equipment and a generator at the base of the tower, so we have to expand the compound. We are going to match existing fencing and screening at the compound. And the expansion is de minimis on either side. We meet all the setbacks. This is a permitted use in this particular district. So, therefore, it's a very simple type application. There are coverage and capacity issues that will help for Verizon subscribers in this area of the township. And that's what we're here for. I do have witnesses with me. I don't know if the board would like a full presentation, happy to do it. But I do have pre-marked exhibit packets to hand up as well. It's whatever the board would like, we're here to do.
I think, Nick, before you turn it over to your witnesses, I just want to mention, I sent you a draft resolution that's on the agenda later on for consideration. Did you have a chance to review that?
I did review it, yes, Mike, yes.
And are those conditions acceptable?
Very acceptable.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. It's yours. You want to give it out?
President Higgins, this is a pretty straightforward application. It's an existing monopole. It's just an additional antenna on it and some ground expansion. I think that the Planning Commission did a yeoman's job making sure that neighboring properties were protected with their recommendations and conditions, and we've worked those into a draft resolution. So I think it's the board's pleasure whether they want to hear additional information from any other witnesses.
Okay, I'm going to leave that up to Commissioner Berry, but if you want to give a copy or a packet to.
Of course, I have copies for everyone, or.
You want, give them to Township Manager here.
Absolutely.
I was at the planning meeting and I agree with everything they put forward.
Here's for you, sir. Yeah, Mr. Berry was at the prior meetings. He understands what's going on. It's down the street from him, actually, right? So, if you don't want to.
I don't think it'll affect any of the area.
Okay. Does anybody else here on the panel would like to make a comment or ask a question, please?
I want to make a comment.
Sure.
Is it going to improve our service? Okay, let's be honest about it.
Absolutely, if you are a Verizon subscriber.
I am.
It will absolutely improve your service, yes.
Well, then you may get my vote.
We're gonna vote this down, I'm not Verizon.
Joe, you have a question, or John? No, go ahead. You guys, other than.
Yeah, I got one question.
Mr. Prendergast has a question.
It may sound stupid, but what's the generator for on this? I have no understanding.
Sure. So the cabinets themselves have battery backup, usually 4 to 6 hours.
Okay.
So if power goes out in the area, the storm, wicked storm of any kind, once those are exhausted, the generator kicks on, and those are extreme circumstances. Just so everyone's still, most people cut the cord at this point, with landlines. So just in case, you can still reach out to loved ones, friends, family.
I got you.
And that's it, that's it.
Thank you.
It will be cycled during business hours, just to make sure it's working.
And that'll be gas, there'll be gas?
It'll actually be
Natural gas?
natural gas, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Good enough.
Okay, I have no questions. Megan, do you have any questions from a township engineer position? Okay, Michael, do you have any questions before I go to the?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody out here has any questions, whether they live over there on Tryons, or if they just want to ask a question. Nick, raise your hand, come on up.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Nicholas Penza, Aston, PA, 30 Morgan Road. My question is, since this is on the elementary school property, is this going to be going on, like the remodification of the tower, is this going to be going on during the school period?
It's actually not on the elementary school property, it's on the property adjacent.
Oh.
Thank you, Nick.
Hey, Mike, one question.
Sure.
If I can jump back.
Sure.
So point of clarification, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but does a cell tower like this require like a 911 street address? I know 911 center requires address.
That's a great question, yes, so when we looked that up, that's where we came up with 0 Concord Road.
Okay.
So, but we're happy to put both addresses on, just for the 911 as well, for clarification.
Yeah,
Not a
just
problem.
based on the expression, I figured.
Yeah, understood completely. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe, good point. Again, anybody else would like to come up before we move further? Okay, thank you, sir. Commissioner Dockery, would you take us out of the Sendai?
I make a motion to take the meeting out of Sendai.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. So we move on now to old business A. So old business A is consider an ordinance to amend the zoning code to add a definition of smoke shop, etc. Mr. Berry.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, ordinance number 1042. An ordinance of Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending the zoning code to add a definition of smoke shop, permit smoke shops by conditional use in the freestanding business district, and establish additional conditional use standards applicable to the smoke shops. Ordinance number 1290.16, smoke shops. Smoke shops shall be permitted as a conditional use in freestanding business districts subject to the following requirements. A, no smoke shop shall be located within 1,000 feet of any other smoke shop. Repealer, all ordinances, resolutions, or parts of ordinances or resolutions directly inconsistent with any provision of this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent of such inconsistencies only. The effective date of this ordinance shall become effective upon its adoption by the Aston Township Board of Commissioners, enacted and ordained this 19th day of February 2025, attested to by Kelly A. Pittman, Secretary, Michael J. Higgins, President of the Board of Commissioners, and that's in a form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Item B, 11B. Consider an ordinance to rezone a portion of the property located at South Springhouse Lane, folio number 0200002982-5, from institutional to R2 medium density. Commissioner Tinsley.
This is ordinance number 1043. This is an ordinance amending the code of Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, Title 6, zoning chapter 1256, section 1256.02, zoning map to rezone A, 3.4 acre portion of property identified as Delaware County folio number 02-02-0292-05 and located at 0 South Springhouse Lane, a legal description of which is set forth and the ordinance from ID institutional to R2 medium density residential district. In the form of the motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Like we said, Mike, that we're going to be going over, this is just step one of all the processes that's going to occur related to logistics for when construction occurs, whether, as well as how the houses are built, what backs up to it, the privacy, et cetera. That all happens in future new construction and planning meetings. But for this particular one, it's just related to changing the rezoning from institutional to R2.
Thank you for the clarification. Again, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions further? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Ayes have it. We move on to 11C. Consider an ordinance regulating the raising and keeping of chickens in the township, establishing standards for chickens, housing, and establishing penalties for violations. Commissioner Berry.
Thank you, Commissioner Hayes. Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, ordinance number 1044, raising and keeping chickens. An ordinance of Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, regulating raising and keeping chickens in the township, establishing standards for chicken housing, and establishing penalties for violations. Whereas the Board of Commissioners, this board, has become aware that residents desire to keep chickens on residential properties within the township. Whereas this board desires to make sure that chickens are raised, kept, and housed in ways that promote the safety of the animals and the community. Now therefore be ordained and enacted and ordained this 19th day of February, attested to by Kelly A. Pippin, Township Secretary, Michael J. Higgins, President of the Board of Commissioners, and that's in the form of a motion. And if you are going to get chickens, I advise going to code and find out what the rules. You will have to get a permit, and that was in form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comments on chickens?
I just want to comment.
Sure.
It's my understanding that Town and Country is going to name an omelet after Les Berry.
Just a dozen eggs.
And I think we'll go out there and we'll have an omelet with you.
Okay.
So, thank you, Commissioner, again, I like that. Okay.
That was in the form of a motion.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. We already had comments, questions. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Ayes have it. Okay, we'll move on to 11D. Consider an ordinance amending ordinance number 903 to be consistent with the collective bargaining agreement. Mr. Doherty.
Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, ordinance number 1045, an ordinance of Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending the police pension ordinance to adjust the disability benefit for officers hired on or after January 1st, 2024, to be consistent with the current collective bargaining agreement between the Township and Fraternal Order of Police Lodge number 27. Whereas the Township, via ordinance number 903, restated its police pension plan, whereas the current collective bargaining agreement between the Township and Fraternal Order of Police Lodge number 27, Nick. Whereas the current collective bargaining agreement between the Township and Fraternal Order of Police Lodge number 27 adjusted the disability pension benefit for officers hired on or after January 1st, 2024, from 75% of the preceding 12 months of salary to 70% of the same period salary. And whereas the Township is desirous to amend ordinance number 903 to make it consistent with that amendment. Now therefore be ordained that ordinance 903 is hereby amended as follows. Section 1, disability benefit. Article 4, Section 4.04 is amended to read as follows. If a member hired before January 1st, 2024 retires because of a total and permanent disability, service-connected disability, he shall be entitled to receive a pension benefit equal to 75% of the member's final 12 months of salary. If a member is hired on or after January 1st, 2024, he shall be entitled to receive a pension benefit equal to 70% of the member's final 12 months of salary. For purposes of calculating a service-connected disability pension, salary shall include the member's base wage, longevity, shift differential, and any overtime earned or received during the final 12 months of employment. Lump sum payments such as severance shall not be considered salary for this purpose and are thus excluded from the service-connected disability pension calculations. Accordingly, pension contributions shall not be taken out of the severance payments made to the member retiring on service-connected disability. The benefit will commence on the first day of the month following the month of which he retires. Survivors of a member hired before January 1st, 2024, who dies while receiving a service-connected disability pension shall receive a pension equal to 37.5% of the member's final 12 months of salary without offset. Survivors of a member hired on or after January 1st, 2024, who dies while receiving a service-connected disability shall receive a pension equivalent to 35% of the member's final 12 months of salary without offset. There shall be no reduction, offset, in workers' compensation benefits received by the retired member or the member's survivors due to the receipt of a service-connected disability pension for the township. However, there may be an offset against a service-connected disability pension if the retired member receives workers' compensation and/or Social Security disability payments on account of the same injury, illness, or condition which gave rise to the service-connected disability pension. Such offset against the pension will occur in the event that the total of the member's pension, workers' compensation, and/or disability, Social Security, related to the same injury, illness, or condition exceeds 100% of the member's salary as used to calculate his pension. In such event, the service-connected pension shall be reduced so that the total payments received by the member equal 100% of the member's salary as used to calculate his pensions. Section 2, severable. The provisions of this ordinance are severable. If any part of this ordinance is declared to be unconstitutional, illegal, or invalid, the validity of the remaining provisions shall be unaffected. Section 3, repealer. All ordinances, resolutions, and parts of ordinances and resolutions directly inconsistent with the provision of this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent of such inconsistencies only. Section 4, effective date. The effective date of this ordinance shall be retroactive January 1st, 2024, enacted and ordained this 19th day of February 2025. Aston Township Board of Commissioners, Mike Higgins, President, attested to by Kelly Ann Pippin, in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions for the commissioners on this revised ordinance? Okay, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. And we have item E, consider a resolution to approve the conditional use application of Cello Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless to co-locate a wireless telecommunications antenna, etc. Commissioner Berry.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. A resolution of Aston Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, approving the conditional use application of Celco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless to co-locate a wireless telecommunications antenna on the existing monopole and expand the existing equipment compound located at 900 C Tryon Road, folio number 0200004070-00 pursuant to ordinance number 1293.03 of the codified ordinance of Aston Township, resolution number 2025-16. Whereas the township conducted a public hearing on the application on February 19, 2025, and now therefore be it resolved that the application be and is hereby approved and granted subject to terms set forth. Resolved this 19th day of February, attested to by Kelly A. Pippin Township Secretary and Michael J. Higgins, Commissioners, President, Commissioners. That's in the form of a motion.
Thank you. With a motion and a second, any comments or questions on the ordinance?
Mr. President, before you call the question on this motion, can I read the conditions into the record, please?
Absolutely.
1, installation of the antenna and expansion and installation of the equipment compound shall be substantially set forth on the plan. 2, prior to the issuance of any permit for the project, Applicant shall demonstrate compliance or an intent to comply with the recommendations of the Aston Township Planning Commission. 3, applicant shall abide by all testimony on its behalf at the hearing, and all such testimony is incorporated as though fully set forth herein. 4, the applicant shall comply with all applicable laws and regulations of the United States of America, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Delaware County, and Aston Township during construction and use of the site, but including but not limited to the Aston Township ordinances and building codes. Applicant shall locate the antenna in a location not to increase the height of the existing tower. Any generator supporting the equipment at the project shall contain a residential sound-rated enclosure and muffler, the specifications for which shall be subject to the review and approval of the township engineer prior to the issuance of permits. To the extent not already done, prior to the issuance of permits, applicant shall revise the plan to show utilities, add a note requiring marking of utilities through Pennsylvania One Call, and identify the subject parcel as 900C Trians Road. Prior to the issuance of permits, excuse me, applicant shall revise the plan to show a privacy fence around the expanded ground facility. The make and design of the fence shall be similar to that which exists on site and shall be subject to the review and approval of the township engineer. Prior to the issuance of permits, applicant shall take such action, if any, to confirm that the plan meets the township requirements for stormwater management. And finally, the terms of this approval may only be modified by subsequent action of the Aston Township Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mattern, appreciate that. Okay, so we have motion second. We have questions, any other questions? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it, okay. All right, we're gonna move on to number 12, that's new business, as soon as I find it. Okay, okay.
That's the tower.
Okay, new business A, consider a motion to approve the request to authorize Township Solicitor to enter a stipulation to resolve a tax appeal for the property located at 4800-4952 Pennell Road, Aston, PA. Commissioner Berry again.
Which one was that, Mike?
That's you, yes.
Which is E?
It's A, yes, yeah. There should be a letter there they gotta read.
Consider a motion to approve the, oh, okay. Okay, consider a motion to approve the request to authorize Township Solicitor to enter a stipulation to resolve a tax appeal for the property located at 4800-4952 Pennell Road, Aston, PA 19014. Reattached memorandum? Yeah, right. It looks like we're gonna get $12,569 in the request. This stipulation was already executed by the other taxing authorities, and I recommend approval Wednesday evening. Thank you. That's in form of a motion.
Thank you. That amount of $12,569 will be among the three authorities, so it's a nice number. Okay, got a motion second, any comments or questions on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. All right, item B. Consider a motion to authorize the Township Solicitor to advertise an amendment to the General Violations Ordinance. Commissioner Tinsley.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the advertisement of an ordinance amending the general violations ordinance in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions on that? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Item C. Consider a motion to authorize the Township Solicitor to advertise an ordinance for donation bins. Commissioner Tinsley.
I would like to make a motion to authorize the advertisement of an ordinance for donation bins in the form of a motion.
Second.
We We have a motion and a second. Any comments or
I have a
questions?
question.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Solicitor, the bins that are currently sitting around our township, can we remove them?
Once we have this ordinance in place, they'll be required to be registered, and if there's multiples on the property, we'll be able to remove those.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good question. All right. Did we vote that one yet? Did we vote that one yet?
I don't think we did. No, we did.
All right. We'll do it again just in case. We have a motion and a second. We had a comment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Yeah, we were in the middle when Nancy.
Item D, consider a resolution for the submission of the county MS 339 application. Commissioner Prendergast.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. Approval authorizing an application to Delaware County Council for an allocation of county liquid fuel tax funds in 2025 for the Aston Township Road Program. Whereas the township desires to take advantage of the act approved June 1st, 1945, PP 1242, and as provided in the act approved May 18th, 1945, PL 803, permitting improvements and maintenance of state highways and state aid highways or public highways in any county of the Commonwealth. Now therefore be resolved as follows, that the Township Board of Commissioners recommend the application to the County Council of Delaware County for the allocations of county liquid fuel tax funds in the amount of $15,066 to be used towards the 2025 Aston Township Road Program. Duly adopted this 19th day of February 2025 as the Township Board of Commissioners by Michael J. Higgins and attested to by Kelly A. Pippin, Township Secretary, in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I have a question, Kelly or Bill. Did that number come down? It used to be 18,883 or something like that?
Yes, about 2 years ago, they
Okay.
changed their allocations and everyone's been reduced.
I'm thinking about the past, okay. That, by the way, helps in some small way for our streets to be resurfaced. We get much more money from the state, but this is a little bit we get from the county, so. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we have motion and a second, we have comments. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. And now we have item E, which is consider a motion to approve the traffic signal maintenance contract. Commissioner Prendergast.
I make a motion to approve the traffic signal maintenance contract to Charles A. Higgins and Sons, Inc., of Media, PA, with an annual cost of $2,930 in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Should be known that the Higgins folks are no relation to me. So any comments, questions? All right, so we have the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Ayes have it. Okay. We have the escrow releases next.
Thanks, Commissioner Higgins.
Thank you, Mr. McGinn.
I make a motion to approve the escrow release for $15,667.50 for engineering fees to be paid to Canonian Associates for the month of February 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any comments or questions on this escrow? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Mr.
Thanks.
McGinn?
One more.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve escrow fees of $7,112 for engineering fees to be paid to Cirilli Associates for the month of February 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any other comments, questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Okay, well, just where everybody's waiting for another chance to come up to the microphone. Open to the public, half hour, any topic you so desire. Anybody would like to come up? Ms. Papp, are you coming up? Thank you.
Repeat for transparency's sake, but it's okay.
Anybody else would like to come up? Mr. Palmore, no? Yes? We just like your smiling face.
Yep.
So, all right, well, seeing none, we'll move on to other business here. Mr. Tinsley.
I thought you were gonna leave in family game. Stuck in one last one, no last in a row.
He was smart.
I noticed was a change, was changed the font cut, so it was, you let Billy do the report this month, right? So, just want to congratulate you on your retirement. You know, I talked to you, however, I talked to your son, if not daily, at least weekly or whatever, so I know even how, you know, how much, he thinks of you, you know, how much he's leaned on him, and you're the reason why he's even there. So, good luck in that, or have fun in retirement, I'm sure I'll see you, at least on the cross field, with your granddaughters. You can see there's a lot on the agenda this month, so I want to thank my colleagues and the ordinance committee for taking the initiative on updating several ordinances, and the lead, Commissioner Berry. I think everyone left, but I want to thank the residents who came last month as well as tonight. So I think I met many. I was even talking on my way here. I was talking to a couple of residents who couldn't make it tonight. It was just the first step, so their feedback, comments, and support is appreciated, and they know it's going to be needed. For this, at least, it's my first switch for, well, only being in here only 14 months, so it's not that many. But as far as whether it's Mr. Cuso, Mr. Madron, Mrs. Bailey, to keep the township honest, just to make sure we follow the right way. The next step too is months away, but at least we have a plan in place, and we keep the residents engaged at all times. And then my last is, I want to thank Joe Hart. He actually just texted me and says I'm not allowed to call him Joe Hart. I have to call him the self-proclaimed Chicken Man Joe. So I always have to say this. Thanks for attending tonight as well, Joe. I appreciate it.
Mr. Berry.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. I'd like to thank Kevin for the kind words, but it took all of us in ordinance to do this, and took the rest of the commissioners to okay this. But mainly, I'd like to say good luck, congratulations, Russ, and enjoy. Thank you.
Mr. Prendergast.
Yeah, Russ, just want to congratulate you and your wife. If she can put up with you for now, congratulations.
Mr. Doherty?
Just a few things. First off, Russ, congratulations. Thanks for everything. You leave very big shoes to fill. You've always been great. Any problems, I can just pick up the phone and call. You always answer my calls. We're good about that. So again, thank you for everything. And in that vein, I just want to thank our public works team. So we've had a few snowstorms and ice storms the last month. They've been phenomenal as usual. Yeah. And most recently, we had this windstorm that came out of nowhere Sunday and Monday. Monday was a day off, and our public works guys were all out with chainsaws, cleaning everything up. So I just want to publicly thank them for everything.
Ms. Bowden?
I don't know what to say. I have known Russ 40 years. When he was a young pup that started here.
Yes.
He's done an excellent job. Mr. Lear is quite proud of you. I spoke with him today regarding your retirement. It's just a new era. I wish you well, and your bride. Please, don't hurt him. I know you're gonna want to choke him, but don't do that. We love you, and we're gonna miss you, seriously. Thanks for being my friend.
Mr. McGinn?
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. So I think we figured out, I guess, who Bruce Springsteen was talking about in Atlantic City. Are you the Chicken Man? Mystery solved. No, but a bunch of folks had comments. Russ is looking at it, 35 years of service. It's only, this is year 5 for me. But as John said, I think one of the first issues I had was something related to public works. Got your number, gave you a call, and you were responsive then, and you and your department were always very responsive. So I appreciate that, and sometimes it can be, complicated in terms of goodbyes, but, to me, one of the most, genuine kind of things you can say to somebody is that you'll be missed, by us an accident, for sure. And then, lastly, is a good Irishman that can't, leave without giving you the toast in your retirement, and may the road rise to meet you and the wind be at your back. Best wishes.
Miss Pippin.
Congratulations to Russ, the number 2 to the 1. I was gonna wear my hoodie today for when you got your 30th year graduation, but then I figured I'd kind of really stand out since nobody else was wearing it, so I left it in my closet. You didn't listen, and you're retiring, even though I begged you not to.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, you're allowed. I just wish you and Barbara as well with your retirement, and you're still gonna see me, so I'm not going anywhere. Stop with me.
Mr. DeFeo.
Yeah, same thing here, Russ. Congratulations, Barb, congratulations. And I'll tell you, you really are a lucky guy, Russ, because you've got yourself a brand new 2025 Mustang, and,
Mustang.
And I saw it the other day, and it's a little bit, I can't wait till I can retire and get my Mustang back. Thank you, Russ.
Thanks, Bill. And we'll be walking home.
He's not feeling well.
I'm sure Mike Madron, he's off, he's a feel well night, that's why he's on the screen. But I can be sure that he would have the same things to say. I also want to give my congratulations to Russ and his wife. I understand you're retiring too? So that's wonderful, that you're doing that. Russ has always been there for me. I didn't always understand his reasoning, but he's an expert at what he was doing, so you got to go with it. But I want to tell a little story. I think I have it right. Catalina Island?
Yes.
Sunny Catalina. There's a song about that. Russ was the airport manager in Sunny Catalina off the California coast. And he was mixing arms and everything with the Stars, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always said to him, why would you come here
Yeah,
when you could be out in Sunny Catalina singing that song, Sunny Catalina, and please, please. Anyway, and he used to tell me about the Stars coming out there and everything, but he decided that he had enough. Were you out there when he was there?
Oh, yeah.
You were? Yeah? Oh, that's wonderful.
That's where 2 of our kids were born.
Oh, okay.
really?
Yeah. So you didn't try to get your dibs in to be an actor or anything like that? Well, good. We'll miss you. Don't make yourself a stranger. Come and visit. Maybe when they have some pizza down there, we can have a slice together. So don't make yourself a stranger, but I'm not going to say goodbye. I just say see you around. So thank you very much for your time and service. We really appreciate it. Okay. So we need a motion to end the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.